State of Play started with Resident Evil 4 Remake, and I'm still not sure if at the beginning of the game the girl running is Ashley or not, because she doesn't seem to be blonde, but at the same time she kind of looks like Ashley. Anyway, maybe it's the lights. Okay, now I see it. This is the place where I find her for the first time in the original. So I think you will have a little clip to show her how she got there. Maybe somebody fooled her and told her that this is the place where you can dye your hair blonde. I'm not gonna lie, the game looks awesome. And it made me interested even if I wasn't interested. And I wasn't interested because I saw a lot of failures with the remakes in the past. Resident Evil 2 Remake was great, but the VR version of Resident Evil 4 for Oculus Rift was censored. So that made me a little less interested. Because if they censor that, maybe they will try to cut even more stuff in the remake. We already know how sexy Ada Wong is. We already saw her in the Resident Evil 2 remake. But goddamn, she is sexy even if I don't see all of her. I'm a little disappointed that she doesn't have the original dress. But let's be real, it's Ada Wong. No matter how you dress her, she will still be sexy. You can dress her with baggy clothes and a jacket and she will still be sexy. Later we see a little more Ashley, but the best Ashley is the one in the photo. So Resident Evil 4 comes to PC, Xbox and PlayStation 5. I wasn't sure about this because when I searched for it, in the title of the Verge article it said that Resident Evil 4 Remake is coming to PlayStation 5, Xbox and PC in March 2023. But when I click on it, it only says PlayStation 5. But I tried the other websites and the other website says that it will also be released on Xbox and PlayStation. MobileSyrup.com also says that Capcom has also confirmed that the game will release on PC and Xbox Series X and S on that date as well. Capcom also posted on the PlayStation blog.
This time, the game is being developed to achieve the state-of-art quality for survival horror suited for 2023 while preserving the essence of the original game. We aim to make the game feel familiar to fans of the series while also providing a fresh feeling to it. This is being done by reimagining the story of the game while keeping the essence of its direction, modernizing the graphics and updating the controls to a modern standard.
Well, I'm happy that they are saying they will modernize their graphics and controls for the modern standards, and they didn't say they want to do that about the story. And it's not bad that they said they reimagined the story, but they are keeping the essence of its direction. But I have a little doubt after I saw what they did for Oculus Rift. They cared more about changing some text that were offensive for some retards, instead of focusing on what the fans want. I hope those idiots didn't interfere with the Resident Evil 4 remake. On the Mobile Syrup article it says that Capcom says many of the team members who worked on the well-regarded 2019 Resident Evil 2 remake has been brought on the Resident Evil 4 remake. I don't know why they quoted many, but I think this is great because I think they did a great job with Resident Evil 2 remake. So it's great if we have the same gameplay as Resident Evil 2 Remake, but with Resident Evil 4 weapons and environment. And maybe the story close to the original, at least the good parts. Next, on State of Play we will see that Resident Evil Village will be released for the PlayStation VR 2. And my only question is that can we have a sexual relationship with Tomitra in the VR version? You know that all the perverts want that. Even so, I bet a lot of perverts will masturbate while in VR too. You will run from her and masturbate at the same time. I bet somebody will do that, because this character made a lot of people horny. Next, in VR we have The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners Chapter 2 Retribution. I didn't even know that this game exists. I have no idea what Chapter 1 is, if Chapter 1 is already on VR, and I don't really care. I was very disappointed by The Walking Dead a long time ago, the TV show of course, and I lost interest. Next we have No Man's Sky in VR 2. And I never expected this game to improve so much. I expected this game to be something like Anthem, that was a failure at launch and that's all. but great job with the developers because they managed to make this game awesome. Even if I didn't play it, it looks awesome, and I will love to try it in the future. Next we have Horizon Forbidden in VR 2. I have no idea how easy it is to play in VR, but it will be great to play a game like this in VR. I always loved how awesome the game looks, but the fillers and the story barely made me finish the first game. And maybe I will try this one when we get a huge discount, or maybe I will wait for it to be on PC. Because from what I saw, the story in this one is also bad. I mean, especially the side missions are very boring. It almost looks like a Ubisoft game, with the collectibles and useless side missions. Also, they add ultra hard difficulty and new game plus and other stuff. Kind of late if you ask me, but whatever. I think stuff like this should be released at game launch. Next we have Spider-Man coming to PC. What can I say? Very awesome, because any game that comes to PC is modded and becomes far more interesting. Maybe we will finally get a mod to make Mary Jane less annoying, and maybe they will make her sexy. I'm sorry, but she's ugly and annoying. I hated her in this Spider-Man. Also, can we get rid of the map full of useless crap? The more you play the game, the more useless stuff you see on the map. This is the type of game development that's very lazy. You just make some useless side missions, some useless collectibles, and that's all. And just like Horizon, I barely finished Spider-Man because of the useless side missions and collectibles that made everything boring. Also Mary Jane, annoying as fuck. But I kind of love the main story and the gameplay, so yeah, it's still a good game. Next we have Stray. You play as a cat in the future. So cat simulator in the future. I usually don't like games that are simple like this, that are chill like this. And I don't know if it's because it's a cat as the main protagonist, but I think I like this game and I will try it. The game has a 10% discount and is 24.29 euros on Steam. I will wait for the release date of this game. I don't want to get a lot of spoilers. You can find more info on the Steam page with the gameplay and more about the story. But I will love to play as a cat, so awesome. Next we have the Callisto Protocol, a horror space shooting game. The game looks awesome, very scary, very good looking. And if you're not scared, this will be very interesting to play it at night with your headphones on. Well, of course you will be scared, but if you will not be too scared to do it. The game apparently can be pre-ordered for the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, but the PC, Xbox Series X and S and Xbox One is grayed out. That means that it's not available for pre-order yet, but it's no way they will put that there if it will not be available for pre-order in the future. So great horror game, and I hope they will optimize it well for PC. Next we see Rollerdrome. You shoot people while you roll. So yeah, I'm not interested in this. But next we have a game that the developer apparently only made this game. Studio Sai is the developer and publisher. And apparently they have a YouTube channel, and they even say in the titles of some video clips that the game is a Persona inspired game. The name of the game is Eternights. The game will be released in early 2023, and apparently it will be available for PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Steam, and Epic Games Store. Maybe in the future they will release it for Nintendo Switch and Xbox, but it's a small company and it's very hard to release the games on all platforms. I'm pretty sure that at least you need a dev kit, and the dev kit is very expensive. If you go on Steam, you will find a more complete description of the game, and the game has the tags of hack and slash, dating sim, anime, JRPG. Also, the first description of the game says that Eternights is a dating action game where you try to make the most out of life during the apocalypse. Monday, go on a date. Tuesday, clear dungeon. Friday, freak out, the clock is ticking. And at the About This Game section, it says that Eternights is an dating action simulator blending a love story with adrenaline-driven combat as you make the most out of life during the apocalypse. Scavenge for supplies, explore dungeons, and go on dates. Save the world and find love along the way. One day, something or someone has turned humans into dangerous monsters. All that interests them now is violence and power. They are what stands between you, a cure, and the world you want. Most importantly, you're fighting for more than just your own survival. You are fighting for those you love. If you want even more, you can see it on Steam. I am very interested in this game and I hope they will do a great job. And I also hope they will not censorship anything. Next we have Street Fighter 6 and I'm not interested about this game because when I tried Street Fighter 5 I was disappointed. The menu at least looked more like a mobile game instead of a normal game. I don't know why they made everything like a mobile game. I just wanted to play a game and they always forced me to play online. They showed me a lot of stuff that I don't care about. Yeah, it looked more and more like a mobile game, so I'm not that interested in Street Fighter 6. This is why I hate a lot of games that are like this, because they insist on forcing more multiplayer instead of letting you choose whatever you want. Plus they try to give you a lot of presents if you play online. Mostly skins and other boosters. Next we have Tunic, a game that looks like Legend of Zelda. So you kind of play like Link, but you're a fox with a sword and a shield. I want to play this game. I saw a lot of good reviews about this game. The game is already released on PC, but now it will also be released on consoles. The game right now is 28 euros, and I think it's a great game. Next we have...
Nigga stole my bike. Nigga stole my bike.
A very chill game. It seems to be a very story-driven game. I like games that have at least a little action, and this game doesn't seem to have any. It's more of a piece of life game, but I think if the writing is very good, this game can be enjoyable. Also, why does nobody make a game where you can ride bikes? I used to love that in GTA. Many times I used bikes more than cars. Oh yeah, the game is called Season A Letter to the Future. And it will be released on PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4 and PC. And State of Play finishes with Final Fantasy XVI. I'm a little disappointed with the Final Fantasy franchise. I think Final Fantasy XV was a failure because it looked more like a Ubisoft game instead of a Final Fantasy game. Boring side mission, useless collectibles, the story was all over the place. From what I heard, you had to play the DLC to understand some characters better. Yeah, I didn't care about the DLC because it appeared after I already finished the game. I also had to watch the movie and the movie was really boring. I don't know, yes, Final Fantasy VII Remake looks great, but I'm a lot disappointed how the story ended, and I'm sure that part 2 will disappoint me even more. And I feel bad because the game looks great. And the characters are awesome. I mean, come on, people are obsessed with Tifa. And they should, because she's really sexy. But talking about the Final Fantasy franchise, it starts to look less and less like a Final Fantasy franchise. The gameplay is not that fun, the story is all over the place. For the gameplay, I expected a better looking turn-based game, but with more strategy. But instead we got something close to a turn-based with hack and slash. Anyway, back to Final Fantasy XVI. The trailer doesn't tell me anything. There's a lot of action, some people saying random stuff. It's absolutely nothing that makes me interested in the game. Sure, the summoners like Shiva looks great, but that was never the issue. I don't really care how realistic characters like Shiva looks, or even normal characters in the game. Usually Final Fantasy was about fantasy, about a story that's very enjoyable, unrealistic. But in the last years we get something close to a kingdom with magic. And we always had this in Final Fantasy, but now we have even less fantasy. Maybe I'm wrong, the animation battles look great, and I hope I'm wrong. But let's be real, in the last years Square Enix started looking more like Ubisoft instead of looking more like Square Enix. And more importantly, they look like they want to be more like the Western developers instead of being more like Japanese creators. They focus more on making the game realistic instead of focusing on the fun part. Also, they try like any other AAA games to give you a lot of useless side missions and collectibles. What do you think about the showcase? I think it's great that they keep things simple. I would love in the future to see more gameplay and less cinematic trailers, but it wasn't that bad. See you next time. And also don't forget to tell me what games did you like, what games did you hate, and why.